Hey, welcome back to Twin Oaks Family Farm. It's Melissa, and it is day 13 of raising our flock of 101 broilers. So I've been here in the broiler pen, in the starter pen with them, and feeding and checking on them and tending to any adjustments that they need. So going to take a quick look at them. Thanks for joining us on Twin Oaks Farm Poultry. We love to bring you these videos where we take you behind the scenes in our small commercial poultry operation and show you our day-to-day management practices with raising Cornish rock cross meat chickens and taking them from hatch to harvest. We go from flock to fork in 6 weeks with these birds, and we love to show people what we've learned about starting them, growing them, and finishing them, and it produces a great chicken product for us to enjoy at our supper tables. So welcome back. Please subscribe if you haven't. As I said, we are on day 13 with a flock here of 101 Cornish rock cross meat chickens. We're trying to do about 3 videos a week on this flock to show y'all their growth, their progress, our management practices, some of the adjustments that we make, and some of the things that we stay on lookout for as we're raising them. So I'm going to ask this one to move out of the feeder here. There you go. So they're doing really well. You can imagine when we get these birds, they're chicks. They've just hatched. They get shipped to us from the hatchery through the United States mail. So when they get here, it's day 1, and they are the size of a chicken egg. And Cornish rock cross meat chickens convert feed to meat rapidly, so they can be ready to be finished into poultry very quickly. For us, that's 6 weeks. We're actually seeing for next year, 2024, we might be able to move our production model to a 5-week production cycle, but they just grow rapidly. So as I said, day 13, and I hope that you can tell the growth that we've seen. They're certainly not the size of a chicken egg anymore, and they do have a long way to grow and a short time to get there, but that's what Cornish rock cross meat chickens are really super at. They can do that. They just grow rapidly. They convert feed efficiently and quickly, and they end up, when we are ready to finish them, they dress out actually about 75% of their live weight. So it is hard to get a great picture on them because we have a lot of strong light and then some areas of not very strong light in the brooder pen, but I hope that you're able to get a pretty good view of them. So overall, this is the pen at large. You can more or less see what we have going on here. It's approximately 13 foot by 13 foot, and at this point, almost 2 weeks in, 101 birds. They're not filling out the entire space, but we are wanting to allow them to spread out enough that they have room to move, that they have room to be comfortable under the supplemental heat lamps. So we started with 4 heat lamps. We are still at 4 heat lamps, and we've had fairly warm temperatures, like in the 60s. It's been rainy and damp for about 3 days over the weekend. We're recording this one on a Monday. We are seeing a little bit of response here that they're a little cool. See how I've got them almost in a huddle under each of these lights, and particularly back here. See them like they're trying to huddle up together under the lights. So I'll tell you, and this one, yeah, we're seeing it there. So a little bit of what's accounting for that actually is just before I started recording, I spread the lights out further. So we had these 2 front lights suspended by the chain there, both of these. We had them back more in this area right here. I've got, see where those 2 nails are notched right there? That's where these middle 2 lights were. So they were much closer, like right here. So they were much closer to this set of lights. So it had this we call that a blanket of virtual warmth, where we have the light hitting. So it had that blanket of virtual warmth much more compact. So I had adjusted these out because we're trying to give them more room to move around. But I'm going to gauge this, and if they don't seem to get comfortable, I'll just move these lights back in just a bit. But so we've got that going on here. I'm going to add bedding material, but I'm going to kind of wait and see where they settle out with these lights. But back here, that huddle, That's meat chickens telling you that they feel a little cool. They don't feel as warm as they want to feel. So I'm probably going to move those front lights back. And that's what I was referring to about the temperature. We've had nice warm temperatures, relatively warm temperatures in the 60s. That's not warm to them, but in a snug building that's still well ventilated and with some supplemental heat, that created an ambient temperature here in their starter pen that they were okay with. Now this I'm okay with. They're settling down. They're leaving a little bit of space between each other, and they're sitting, laying down. These groups were not okay with this. They're not getting comfortable enough to sit down. They're kind of burying some of the birds that do want to sit down. So they're definitely showing us this is not in their comfort zone. So I'll watch that. We'll gauge that. Probably going to end up moving these front two lights back again, so we compact that blanket of virtual warmth a little more. And we're going to see temperatures outdoors decline a little bit, we believe, in this next week. So like from day 13 to day 18 for them. So probably the solution is not going to be spreading out the lights that we have. Probably the solution is going to be adding at least 2 more heat lamps. The other things going on in here that would be different from the last video we did on this flock of 101 broilers was the feeders. So we removed all the baby chick tray feeders. We've built these prototype feeders that are long and straight that we really hope work out, and they are working out. We just have to be mindful of where they're positioned. We need them in where the light from the supplemental heat lamps is kind of hitting them, so that keeps directing the birds to go eat from them. But they're doing really well with them. They're doing great with them. Food consumption wise, we've now completed 100 pounds of feed. So if you can believe that, that doesn't seem like a lot of feed for 100 birds for 12, 13 days. And then when you see the amount of growth that we've got out of it, that just speaks to how efficient they are at converting that feed to growth and to meat. So yeah, 100 pounds is what they've consumed so far. We've just opened up our third 50-pound bag of feed here this morning on day 13. So, and I've talked about how we see as the meat birds start growing and we get into production, one of the benchmarks or milestones that we see here in the first 10 days or so is we see them get accustomed to feed and we see their appetite increase. So their first 50 pounds of feed, this group of 100, took about 9 days to consume 50 pounds. The second 50 pounds they consumed in 3 days. So we're going to see that step up more and more. And we expect to get to the place where we are feeding 50 pounds a day to this group of birds. So they're still on the 22% protein value, complete feed crumble. Okay, so that went on. The other thing going on is the waters. We had the baby waters. I call them the baby chick waters that only hold a gallon apiece. We've swapped those out. Those are all gone out of the pen. We've put in the 5-gallon waters. So we have 2 of those in here. We filled them up less than 24 hours ago. They've consumed about half of it. So they're right on target. They were consuming about 8-gallon, 24 hours. So they're right on target. And I'm just going to show you underneath these. So we do have these set on a little bit of a homemade wooden riser. We set them there. It lifts the tray a little. We want to make sure that they're standing up when they eat and drink. So right now, things look pretty successful with that. They are standing up to eat and drink. If they start to sit down when they're eating and drinking, we'll add more risers under there. And the reference point you can use is having the trays at the height of your bird's back. It should keep them standing. But as you can see there, that tray's a little lower, but those birds are still standing. So that's working out good. So that's about it. That's all that's going on today with them. Other than just we check them frequently, like well checks every couple hours. So they're doing really well. We're seeing a lot of growth and still at 101. So I'm really happy about that. We got to keep these birds warm. They want to be at least 85 degrees in the 85 to 90 degree ambient temperature feeling. So I think we will be adding heat lamps probably by the next time you see them in a video. We'll have a couple more heat lamps in here. So want to thank y'all for joining us. And as you're looking at like meat chickens like this, we can keep in mind these are agriculture production animals. So they are terminal, meaning the production cycle will end in slaughter and they'll be processed into a meat product fit for human consumption. We're producing wholesome poultry out of Cornish rock cross meat chickens here. So as you're seeing the growth in these birds, we're keeping in mind that we're recording this on like October 30th, 2023, and these birds are going to be ready for processing. They're going to go to processing on November 30th, 2023. So just about another month with these. And our goal is to raise them out to about a 6-pound live weight bird here in our operation. Our goal is to end with a dressed bird, and dressed means like, you know, finished in the freezer. Once you've removed the head, feathers, feet, and internal organs, we want to end up with a bird about 4 or 5 pounds dressed, finished weight. So that's the goal in a production agriculture operation. We're producing wholesome meat products, and it's just amazing. It is amazing to think, you know, you can take these chickens that are specifically for meat production and have them ready in 6 weeks. But that's what we do. So thanks for joining us. Please subscribe. Please give the video a thumbs up. If you like it, feel free to ask us any questions. We'll research what we need to, answer what we can, and we do genuinely try to get some feedback to everybody that comments. So thanks so much for joining us, y'all, and we hope that you're doing well. We hope that you have a great week, and we wish for many blessings on all of y'all. Thanks so much for supporting our channel.